Call the roll.
Trustee Guyer.
Here.
Trustee Spurling. Here. Trustee Bauman.
Here.
Trustee Youngerman.
Here.
Trustee Marisak.
Here.
Trustee Betzinger.
All right, we do have a quorum this evening. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Moving on to the first item, which is proclamation for Diabetes Awareness Month. I didn't prep you on this, but since you submitted this, would you like to read this?
I sure will, thank you.
Unless you have a fear of speaking in public, and then I will do it, but I bet you don't.
I just won't look at the crowd. No. Whereas diabetes affects 29.1 million people, which is 9.3% of the population in the United States, and is a serious disease for which there is no known cure, and which is the 7th leading cause of death by disease in the United States, and whereas approximately 1/4 of the Americans who have diabetes do not know they have the disease and may experience damage to the heart, eyes, kidneys, and limbs without producing any symptoms. And whereas another 86 million, or 1 in 3 American adults, has prediabetes, a condition which puts them at greater risk for developing type 2 diabetes, and if current trends continue, 1 in 3 American adults will have diabetes by 2050. And whereas type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease in which a person's pancreas stops producing insulin, a hormone that enables people to get energy from food. It occurs when the body's immune system attacks and destroys the insulin-producing cells in the pancreas called beta cells. There is no prevention for type 1 diabetes and at present no cure. And whereas diabetes has many faces affecting everyone, young and old alike, Caucasians, African Americans, Latinos, Native Americans, Asian Americans, and Pacific Islanders, with minority populations in the United States having an increased risk for developing the disease. And whereas an increase in community awareness of risk factors and symptoms related to diabetes can improve the likelihood that people with diabetes will get the attention they need before suffering the devastating complications of the disease. Now therefore, Matthew T. Brawley, Village President of the Village of Montgomery, hereby proclaims the month of November 22nd, 2022 to be Diabetes Awareness Month in the Village of Montgomery. Thank you.
Excellent. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? And the ayes have it. Thank you, sir. And as we did last month, or this month, in November, we'll make sure and promote that and get that out for the public. Every little bit counts. Thank you. All right, the second item for public participation is public comment. This is a 2-minute opportunity. Any member of the public? I don't see anybody in the audience that wishes to speak. Did we receive anything in writing?
We did not receive anything.
Is there anybody on Zoom that wishes to make public comment? I don't intend to rush through this. I heard there's football, but,
There's been talk.
It's not good football, though.
right. All right, hearing none. Move on from that. I'll read the consent agenda and entertain a motion for approval. Minutes of the October 10th Village Board meeting, executive session minutes for October 17th for the special Village Board meeting, accounts payable through October 24th, the refuse report for September of '22, ordinance 1978, ordinance 1981, ordinance 1982, ordinance 1983, it's much easier to do that, ordinance 1979, and then the last item, J, is ordinance 1980.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Marisak, second by Bauman. Any further discussion? All right, call the roll.
Trustee Marisak.
Yes.
Trustee Guyer.
Yes.
Trustee Spurling.
Yes.
Trustee Bauman.
Yes.
Trustee Youngerman.
Yes.
And that carries 5-0. Thank you. All right, items for separate action this evening. The first item is award of a contract to Kane County Excavating, the amount of $1.2 million for the North River Street Water Main Project. Director Wolf.
Thank you, President Brawley. So the Village of Montgomery is continuing on with our non-revenue water reduction plan as part of our Lake Michigan switch for our water source, and as part of our first-year program for the water reduction in the first-year program of our water main replacement program, we've targeted North River Street as the first area for replacement. Bids were opened on October 4th at 11 a.m. Multiple bidders contracted, and the apparent low bidder suggested tonight to the board is, in fact, Kane County Excavating for the amount of $1,207,276.50. The Engineering Enterprises, the village's consultant engineer, has worked with this contractor, not in Montgomery, but in another community where they were satisfied with their work and have vetted all of their credentials for this project. So if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them at this time.
Perfect. Do you want to go over just the little bit that we talked about? On the cover sheet, budgeted amount of 1.6, and then the actual cost of 1.2. It's a really good thing, but you had some explanation on that as well.
So yeah, and identifying the geographic area where North River Street for the water main replacement, since it's so close to the river, EEI had increased the amount of, the dollar amount per foot for water main replacement and escalated that due to the fact that we did not have soil borings at the time of budget. So with the anticipation that we could run into some river rock that would make the cost increase go up due to the rock removal. That's something that's extraordinary and not typical in most water main replacement projects. So that's why you see a higher offset in the budgeted amount versus what's presented here.
Got it.
I have a question. Even though this road is not that busy, the the contractor will have the appropriate traffic control?
Correct, and the water main relocation is going to be in the right-of-way in this segment, so won't be in the road, only for the segment between Mill Street and Taylor will be in the roadway. The rest of the way going northbound, it'll be in the right-of-way. But yes, the traffic will still be impacted, and they'll be required to have proper flaggers and traffic control out there during the course of the project.
Thank you.
So one thing to note on this is, this is $1.2 million, a large sum of money. This is a blip as far as the amount of funds that we need to spend over the next 8 years for water main replacement and other improvements that we need to make to our system just to get our water loss down. So we'll be seeing a lot more of this, including some funding options for all of that. It's something, I think we're still working on the budget, but it's upwards of $30 million that we need to spend to get where we need to be able to take DuPage Water or Lake Michigan, so. All right, anything else?
Motion to approve.
All right.
Second.
Moved by Guyer, second by Marisak. Go ahead, call the roll.
Trustee Guyer?
Yes.
Trustee Spurling? Trustee Bauman,
Yes.
Trustee Youngerman?
Yes.
Trustee Marisak?
Yes.
All right, that carries 5-0, thank you. All right, item B this evening is a PSA with the EEI on the amount of $216,452 for preliminary engineering for the US Route 30 pedestrian bridge. Director Wolf?
Thank you, President Brawley. So the village board may recall conversations that staff had had at previous board meetings regarding pedestrian connectivity throughout the village. The village board identified a pedestrian bridge over US 30 as a top priority. The ITEP program that will provide the village with funding assistance for the design, construction, and construction engineering. The use of the ITEP funds require the village to perform a preliminary engineering or a phase 1 engineering before moving forward with the design engineering. This agreement with the EEI will allow the work to commence on the preliminary engineering for the pedestrian bridge project that we have discussed in the area of the, just adjacent to the ComEd right-of-way on the west side of the village, Stewart Sports Complex area. There was an error that took place when submitting the agenda, so Engineer Ott has the appropriate documents to hand out. We had a miscue, so the attachments that were in the agenda packet don't correspond with this item, so he has those now and can hand those out to the board if you'd like to take a minute to review them.
And it's just one or two of the exhibits in the back, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. No, I'm good. All right. Okay. What's the pleasure of the board? Do you want to take some time to review this? Or how, are we pressing up against a deadline for anything here? Are we going to be delayed in any way? I know that generally the PSAs that we have with EEI are fairly standard at this point over the last several decades, but
Yeah, there's no need to process it tonight if you don't want to, Mayor.
the amounts that were in the agenda packet, the cover page, are accurate. It was just the attachment. Okay. Got it. And this is, you called it preliminary engineering, but this is the phase one for the Ped Bridge. That will take, I know you probably have it in here, but it's 2 years, probably, 18 months?
Yeah, we're hoping to have design approval by June of 2024.
And I guess I should clarify, it will not take you this long to design this, to do preliminary engineering on it. It will take IDOT that long to approve it.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I don't recall if, during our initial conversation, this bridge is being planned with the future expectations of a wider roadway, correct?
Correct.
It just makes it way more fun for them to design when the future widening hasn't happened yet. Because you don't want to make it too wide, because every foot counts, when you're spanning a highway, so.
That's why they need 18 months.
Well, let's sit on somebody's desk at IDOT for a while first, so.
Is the connector path on the east side of the ComEd area, is that in ComEd property or is that Stewart property?
The east side of that would be on the Stewart property.
Yeah,
If it's adjacent to the ComEd right away,
Yep.
east of there would be Stewart.
So we don't have to deal with ComEd again, as far as getting,
We will, because there's a connecting, or I'm sorry, yes, we will.
Path on the south side of the bridge, on the south side of the route,
Okay.
connecting across the common right away.
is it easier to get approval now with this, now that we've had approval on that other path that went through there a couple years ago?
No, I bet. I'm just guessing. No, it's not easier.
I would say the processes and procedures are going to be the same.
Wow, that was very positive of you. Thank you. That's why you're the director of public works and I'm not. But I guess one of the we could always sidestep that connection for a while if for some reason ComEd took 10 years.
That's correct. That portion of
It
this
won't.
project isn't critical.
Give them a little credit. I would say nothing over 8.
Right, well, there's
Oh, I
the,
have a question.
yeah.
In light of that, and, I build with Lincoln Logs, could we just design it so that it ran on an angle from that parcel that's on the south, on an angle to avoid the ComEd right-of-way?
So the bridge itself won't span anywhere in the ComEd right away. There's a path, a connecting path that will connect at the landing point on the south side of Route 30 to the existing path to the west. So again, that path could be a totally separate project if it were to be held
I'm
up.
talking about this. I'm talking about taking the northern end and swinging it so that it wouldn't join, the path wouldn't go into the ComEd right-of-way. It would just stay all in Stewart.
None of the actual pedestrian bridge portion of this project
No,
will
but
be
the
in the
path
ComEd.
wouldn't. It would land,
No, even the path on the north side, that's Stewart.
Yeah, the
property.
path on the north side is 100% on Stewart. On Stewart property.
They just lease, it looks like it, Doug, because they lease
Because
the
of the way
entire
of the
ComEd
farming?
and the
Okay.
stuff, they lease it all to the same farmer.
okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So yeah, it's just that little east-west connection that goes to the blue line. So the red line goes to the blue line,
Sound like you work for Metro.
right? So the contract, I saw you have Huff and Huff on board as a sub, and then Benish, who we've worked with in town here before to do, I'm assuming, the bridge design type structural stuff, right?
Yeah, and then Rubino would be doing the soil work.
Perfect. Okay. What's the pleasure of the board? Is there a motion, or should we come back to it?
I'm okay with proceeding.
I'm okay proceeding.
It's under budget.
Perfect. Is that?
We
is
might
either one
need
of
that
those a
time for
motion?
ComEd.
I'll make a motion to approve.
And that sounded like
Second.
a second. Perfect. Any further discussion on it? I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Go ahead and call the roll.
Trustee Marisak.
Yes.
Trustee Guyer.
Yes.
Trustee Spurling.
Yes.
Trustee Bauman.
Yes.
Trustee Youngerman.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks, Chris. Pete, Mark? It's all right. All right, anything, and there's no items for discussion. Anything new or unfinished? I'll start with the board. Go ahead.
Yeah, this Wednesday, Halloween judging, 5:30 at the hall.
Perfect.
Last year, we had 74 houses nominated. This year, we have 93.
Nice. There is
When
an,
is that, Dan?
This Wednesday, 5:30 PM.
there is an amazingly
You gotta be here.
wonderful
I'm in.
witch
Okay,
on
Doug's in.
Mayfield. That's pretty
I'm-
cool. Looks like she's flying.
I'm in. I might have a couple 5-year-olds,
That's fine.
6-year-olds with me.
Yeah,
The ones whose opinions
Your
count.
daughter and a
Yes.
friend don't, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, creepy, your daughter and her friend.
gotcha, thanks.
Anybody else going around the horn here? Sweet, since we have 3 seconds. I'm gonna go to staff again. Chief, did you have anything? Any update for the board? All right. I should have welcomed you, but our finance director, Maluski, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Awesome, welcome. Do you have
Thank you.
anything?
Nope, we're just working diligently on the audit to get it to the board as soon as possible.
Perfect. Director Wolf,
No updates at this time?
community development?
No updates at this time.
Thank you, guys, I appreciate it. Anything from EEI? All right, and then should I even ask then, since nobody else is? Perfect. Thank you all for coming. All right, with that, future meeting schedule, items E and F, that's November 28th, I would assume? All right, so we do have executive session, so I would entertain a motion to adjourn in executive session, so we will not be coming back out here afterwards
So moved.
to discuss setting of a price for, they do this in Aurora where they actually interrupt the mayor all the time, and it drives me nuts.
Well, I
But
thought
go
you were
ahead.
done.
No, it's fine. The setting price of real estate. Go ahead.
So moved.
There you go.
Second.
All right, go ahead.
Trustee Youngerman.
Yes.
Trustee Marisak.
Yes.
Trustee Guyer.
Yes.
Trustee Spurling. Trustee Bauman.
I wanted to throw trash.
Perfect,
It's the
and we're
wrong-
adjourned. Thank you.